Legal disclaimer, this video is for educational purposes only and is not intended as investment advice. Let's get to it. Come Monday, institutional investors are going to be reevaluating the growth dynamic of many of these Nasdaq companies, Twitter, Facebook, Amazon. It's going to be a fundamental change and it could lead to a Nasdaq crash. Now, how did we get here? You had the incident on Capitol Hill, and we're not going to cover the political, we're just covering the economic and the stocks. You had the permanent ban of the president by Facebook and Twitter, at which point conservatives wanted to leave Twitter and Facebook and go to a social networking app called Parler, at which point Apple decided that they weren't going to allow Parler in their ecosystem, and Amazon, which controls their servers, pulled the access to the servers and made it nearly impossible for conservatives to switch to this other platform. Now, I think the major implication is that people are understanding how much power these companies have, and it makes them uncomfortable. Now, you have 77 million people who voted for President Trump, that support President Trump, so the implication for all of these companies is significant. Now, Amazon is a good example. Amazon is basically a commodity company. Anything they sell, you can buy somewhere else. You can buy anything they sell from Target or Walmart. Both of those companies both do delivery, and Amazon also charges the $150 Amazon Prime and offers other services. I'm not so sure that people are at the point where they're blown away by getting everything in 2 days. I think that Amazon is actually very vulnerable from people that just don't feel like paying $150 for the privilege of 2-day delivery when everything that they sell you can get somewhere else. So that's just one example. Facebook is another example. Facebook, their entire business rests on the fact that there is something going on and you need to feel like there's a party going on and you're missing something if you're not on there. Now, if they lose, let's say, hypothetically, 20% of the people are just offended by the way that they've acted and the fact that they're controlling speech, whether or not you agree with it, their whole business resides on the fact that they're increasing membership. If people disengage, or even if they don't just delete their account but are no longer feel that they need to be on Facebook as much, that is a significant change in their business. It impacts the growth dynamic. It's a huge hit for investors, and it changes the economics of what the value of their business is to advertisers. It is a quantum change. We don't know exactly how this will play out, but it is a major fundamental change for their business. The other fundamental change is that every government around the world has been watching this thinking, these companies have a lot of power, probably too much power, and all of these companies, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Twitter, now have a bullseye on their back from these governments that I'm sure are very uncomfortable with how much power these companies have, and it's going to be harder for them to do business. There's no question there's going to be more regulations, maybe not in the United States, but many other countries. Now, the other phenomena that's been going on is this Social Dilemma Netflix documentary that takes a look, kind of a negative tone documentary about social media and how the role it plays in our lives. And I think a lot of people were already at the point where they were questioning how much benefit they get from social media, Twitter, Facebook, etc. And I think that the timing of this event is really not good for these companies because I think a lot of people were already thinking about scaling back. So that's another issue here. Now, I wish I had the time to go over each stock and the valuation, but I think it's fair to say that these stocks are priced nearly to perfection. I think that's accurate. And I expect that institutional investors will reevaluate the growth dynamic, the underlying businesses, what these changes mean to these companies. And I'm not trying to scare you, but I would not be surprised if these companies, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, Twitter, were down 7% to 10% tomorrow alone, and a reevaluation of what the businesses are worth and a fundamental change that will take the Nasdaq close to, if not into, a bear market. So there's just no other way, and I have no positions in these stocks. I'm not short. That's just my view, and I've done this a long time. I think that beyond the political, the fundamental nature of these businesses has changed. That's my point. And beyond the political, the economic fundamentals of these businesses have changed. And I think that is that will have a major impact on the Nasdaq and these companies, their valuations, and what analysts expect going forward. So I think so much has changed that I wanted to make this video. I hope you appreciate it. As always, like this video, subscribe. If you have comments, if you disagree, leave comments down below. I'm fine with that. So have a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon.